Well, it's old Otho Gold, and he's reflecting on nicknames today. Now, I was thinking that in our society, we just have a tendency to reduce names to the lowest common denominator. For example, Arthur becomes Art, Danielle becomes Danny, Gabrielle becomes Gabby, Nathaniel becomes Nate, Roxanne becomes Roxy. I'm not sure why we have this tendency. We want to always make things smaller. I think we're getting a little lazy with regard to pronouncing the names in our society. But anyway, I was thinking about high school and some of the nicknames of some of the guys I grew up with. There were quite a few of them, and we know that nicknames sometimes are associated with an event that occurred around that person or some kind of personal trait. For example, one of the guys' name was Brillo. Now, you're wondering why Brillo, right? Well, he had a wiry hair. I mean, it was just stuck up all over the place. Looked like steel wool. That's why they called him Brillo. Even my brother had a nickname. They called him Captain America. Can you guess why? He had this brilliant shirt on, stars and stripes shirt that he used to wear from time to time, especially when he was out with the guys getting into mischief. Captain America, yeah. And of course, then there was one of those guys in our Boy Scout troop. We were out camping one weekend, and you bake potatoes in the coals. Just cover them up with coals and let them cook for a while. And when you pull them out, they're really hot. Well, someone pulled a really hot tater out and just slung it up against this boy's face, And from that point on, they called him Tater. I tell you, that was something that stuck with him even to this day. When I go home, I see Tater out running around the bars. He was... And then there was another scouting weekend where a bunch of boys in a patrol, they were chopping down a tree and because a squirrel had run up it. Well, the tree happened to fall on this boy's foot, and they started calling him Squirrel from that point on. I tell you, some people do the darndest things, get a nickname. I don't know, man. Well. And of course, one of the most memorable names was Chinchilla. Well, it so happened that one of my buddies, his mother was approached by a door-to-door salesman selling chinchilla farms. Now, she was kind of a gullible woman, likable but gullible. And she spent a whole bunch of money on a chinchilla farm. Of course, they never showed up. It was a scam. But from that point on, he was known as Chinchilla. And of course, back in the 60s, when Boone's Farm wine was really popular, you buy a bunch of that wine, get out driving around with the boys, having a good time at night, and get into all kinds of mischief. Well, one young man, he was really high on Strawberry Hill, and they started calling him Boone's Farm, and that stuck with him. They still call him Boone's Farm when you see him down home. And finally, there was one old boy, they called him Stink. Now, I know your mind's already going crazy imagining why they called him Stink. Well, he had some type of a glandular problem, and his armpits perspired all the time. And he would get into the car with you, and there'd be 4 or 5 boys, and that odor was just like a cloud around him. And it just was horrible. But it got to the point when the people saw him coming, they say, "Oh, here comes Stink. What are we going to do?" Well, enough about that pontificating on nicknames today. I'm sure all of you got similar stories. Y'all have a great day.